Welcome,
There he is.
Steve.
What's up, Steve?
This is so stressful. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfectly.
Oh, thank God. I nothing stresses me out than these live streams because I'm always half the time it's usually is your mic on? We can't hear you. Unmute your mic. I'm like, it isn't unmuted. And
We got you. Are you in a church? Where are you?
I've joined the clergy.
Yeah. Look
What
at you.
is happening?
I'm at a friend's house in Van Nuys. I just got back from Vancouver like 2 days ago, and I have no house here in LA, so I'm staying at a friend's.
Wait, you don't live
yeah.
here anymore?
Well, I do, but I've been living out of a suitcase for 2 years because when I went to do Suicide Squad, my landlord wouldn't let me sublet my apartment, so I gave it up. And then I got back from the Suicide Squad right when the pandemic started, and I just was crashing at people's houses. And then I went to Vancouver, so I haven't had a house in 2 years.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
And what is that like? Because it really is like you've now committed into this. I mean, and it's not even like it to a world and a character for 2 years, right? Like this is a crazy, and it's giant. It's not like a small thing. Like know that this has like you're on posters. It's like a big deal, and we can say it now because it's like everyone's like, this is the best movie of the summer. It's going to be amazing. The buzz on this movie is already insane. Like, what was it like just for the last 2 years though? Like being like, I can't really talk about it, or I can, or like what? Like you're just living in this weird world. What was that like?
Huge regret. I wish I had said no. It was amazing. It was, it was. I don't understand the secrecy behind the superhero movies because, when we did Suicide Squad, they were just like, no phones on set. We don't want any photos getting out. So everyone would have to go to set from their trailers with big cloaks and robes over their costumes. And they're just like, we can't let pictures get out. And then eventually you go shoot at a location somewhere else. And there's like people on the street who upload the worst, iPhone images. And it's like, yeah, you guys should have released really high quality photos like months ago.
I remember like when Heath Ledger did Joker, everyone was like, what is he going to look like? What is he going to look like? And like the first stills were like from the top of a building down on him, like walking into a trailer. And it just looks it looks shitty. And it's just like, and then it's out there and it's just like, well, so it is.
Everyone in production is mad. They're like, how did this happen? Like you wouldn't have had to worry about this if you had put out some photos months ago.
When I did this movie, which I referenced probably too much, Piranha 3DD and or 3Ds, not the double D, the original one. Piranha 3D. There was an actress in the movie, Kelly Brook, and she was very, very big in the UK, and people were always trying to get paparazzi shots of her. And we were shooting on this boat, and like one day, like this jet ski like goes by our boat. And then another one comes, and then they start almost doing like a Waterworld stunt spectacular show, like and we all like go to the front of the boat, and we're watching this like amazing like stunt show, and then we realized that was like a decoy. It brought us all to the front of the boat, so then paparazzi who were on shore, like got all the images. So those guys were the entertainment to get like everybody like perfectly lined up at the front of the boat. And I was like, this is genius.
Wow.
Steve, that's crazy.
Steve, are you like, I'm sorry, I don't know the world at all. Are you like an action hero? Do you fight people, or like, do you have like laser beam eyes? Like, what's your deal?
In Suicide Squad, I did the motion capture, like the reference for King Shark, which is a CG half man, half shark. That's actually voiced by Sylvester Stallone. But I play a character named John Economist, he's in like the headquarters with like Viola Davis. He's more of like a computer tech guy.
Okay. Got it. But you were on set though, acting, I imagine even improvising, because you had to be there. It's like to kind of to do that role. I mean, was that kind of are you completely covered in like dots the entire time?
No, it's weird because with this shark, he doesn't really have human. I mean, he's got arms,
Right.
but it would be pointless to
Right.
do
Yeah.
the
Whereas
dots and tracking because he's not going to have the same body as a human. So I was there just for reference. So
Okay.
they'd be like, okay, here's where we have to put the
So
shark.
could you like just wear street clothes?
No, I still had to wear like just a gray unitard. I had to wear. I'll send you photos. I had to wear this giant foam chest piece that was like 4 times as big as me, and then a bicycle helmet with like the framing of a shark's head like coming out in front. That's what I had to wear.
And I mean, people don't realize, like, I think the reason why Rocket the Raccoon is so great in Guardians is because Sean Gunn was on set with all of them, and it gives it like an energy. So it's not just like you are really you do have to perform and like do it all. Yeah.
Otherwise they're all just talking to thin air and have no idea where to look.
Are you arch enemies with Andy Serkis now? Like, do you guys talk shit about each other? And no,
but now that you mention it, I think that might actually be smart. That might be a good thing to do.
I mean, and you also now, I mean, the other thing too, so then you go and you do the TV shows. So, which is like, I mean, I'm blown away by it. I love all this like big superhero stuff. And I mean, I imagine too, is like, I guess the first question I want to ask about any of it that you could probably answer with no problem is, what's the food like? Are you getting great food there? Is it like next level? Like I once was on an Eddie Murphy movie and they had sushi, just like in the middle of the day. They're like, we got sushi today. It was like for like 400 people.
It's definitely a huge difference between the movie and the TV show. You know, it's the movie is like they have the same caterer that they did on Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was just like you get a meat option, a fish option, like chicken or turkey. Like it is crazy on the movie. It's incredible. The TV show it was good, but it was no movie.
What is Vancouver is like, I love whenever I'm up there shooting anything. It seems like a super fun place to live. Like, would you ever think about hanging out there for like forever? Or
I would love to go back when there's no pandemic. It was literally the worst time to go. And I went in December when COVID was really bad here in LA. Yeah. And I hit the road going, so long, suckers. I'm going to Canada, socialized medicine. I'm probably going to be vaccinated by March. And then it completely switched. And like by like April, all my friends down here were vaccinated. Yeah. And by May in Vancouver, they were still only vaccinating people over 78 years old. Like, it was a bummer. Like, so when I wasn't shooting, I was just sitting in my apartment doing nothing.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened to June. June was shooting a movie in Canada and she was like, I'm going to get it. And then she came back and everyone was completely vaccinated and was just jonesing to get like taken care of. It was like, it just was a kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. I saw Adam Pally up there and Andrea Rosen, and we would kind of socially distance and order pizza and eat out on these like park benches when it was like 30 degrees and we're all just like freezing, but like really need to hang out in person with somebody.
Did you get the cops at your door? Because Pally was telling me when we were talking one time, like the cops would come to his house for the first 14 days to make sure he didn't leave his place.
Oh, wow. No, never. Yeah. I received 2 phone calls, one at the halfway point and one at the end going, "You're still in your apartment, right?" And it's like, yeah. I could have easily left. Easily.
I saw pictures on your Insta of you and Tom Lennon hanging out in the woods a lot. What was that? Was that for the movie or for the TV show?
No, Tom was working on Supergirl, and we would just go. I tried to get mushrooms, but I couldn't. But I wanted to go do mushrooms with him in the park, but we ended up just hiking like normal yuppies.
Yeah. We should do mushrooms in LA, Steve. That would be fun.
Dude, I would anytime, man.
Yeah. We should
Either of you.
We should do it.
I'm down. I've never done mushrooms in a place where I feel like I'm close to. Like I feel like not like in an area where I would see people. I feel like that would make me nervous, but maybe I'm wrong.
I did mushrooms once I usually always do them in Joshua Tree, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
But I did them once in Van Nuys at a 4th of July party with some people who I don't know, who you guys both know, who I don't know if they'd want it mentioned. So I won't say their names. But like, it was the fucking worst because we're in a cement backyard with like 200 people who are not on mushrooms. And it was really stressful.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I did it once in Joshua Tree, and it was great because we rented this house, and the house had like fencing, but it was very large, so you could only wander to the fence, and it was a great way. It was a great I felt like an animal. I was like, okay, I got to the fence. Now time to walk back. I could never get that far out, and I felt like that was that was a good like barrier for me to have a stopping point.
Totally.
I feel like it's more now like having a kid. I feel like I would prefer to be out of town, like unreachable, ungettable. In case something gets fucking crazy, I'm like, well, I can't be a dad now anyway because I'm in a different state. Like I can't be responsible right now.
I have another friend who did mushrooms. This was like 20 years ago on like Halloween, and oh no, it wasn't mushrooms, it was ecstasy, and they all did like way too much ecstasy. And then at like 1 o'clock in the morning, he gets a phone call from his family back home in the Midwest, and they were all crying. They're like, "Grandma's dead, Grandma died," and everyone was just like freaking out.
Oh my God. That's the worst. That's like my nightmare. Totally. Steve, you're not to like hump your leg, but your Instagram is so great because your photography is just always you're such a good photographer. Like, is that something that you just kind of fuck around with, or like how seriously do you take that? Like, I feel like you have tons of stuff like wherever you are, like Joshua Tree or Canada or wherever, but like, is that just kind of like a fuck around?
Yeah, I bought a really nice camera when I was working on Jimmy Kimmel's show in like 2005. And because I was like, I had access to all this cool backstage stuff and guests and sketches and bands. I could go up on the stage and photograph. So I was like, I should be photographing this. And then it kind of transferred over to, when we started shooting Sarah's show, and it's just kind of grown, and it's like my favorite hobby. I love doing it. I eventually want to do a show.
Garland just did a show. I got into photography about like 2 years ago, and this is the year I really committed to manual photography, like really learning it and understanding it. Well, and I still
yours is mostly butthole photography, Paul, and I feel like it's such a limited.
It's still art. That's still art.
Such a niche, man.
It's art, but you have to see like how am I doing it? Is there bokeh on the butthole? That's always what I'm trying to get, is a little bit of bokeh, so it's a little blur, or am I doing something that's a little bit more macro? Like I do a lot of different types. But sometimes you'll look at it and you're like, oh my God, what is that, like an anthill? And then I hopefully, if you're looking at that and you say that, I'll stand next to you and I go, it's a butthole.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
What camera are you using, Paul?
I am using, and I feel bad because it's an expensive camera, but I'll own it, which is I got a Leica.
I have a Leica. Yeah, they're great.
I love it. It's amazing. Garland was like, you got to get a Leica, and I went to the Leica store, and they had this like they basically had a brand new Leica, and they said, hey, if you want the old one, we'll like take $700 off it. And I was like, you're ripping me off. And then I checked with a friend, and they're like, you got to buy that. And I did. And it's been I use it all the time. I carry it with me all the time. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Do you have a lot of lenses? The lenses are the most expensive part of those cameras.
I know. This is a fixed lens Leica, so I only have one. I have a Fuji that I have different lenses for. But yeah, like whenever I look at Leicas, I'm like, oh my! I mean, everything with Leica is crazy, gigantically expensive. Yeah.
Would either of you guys ever be interested in doing like some very tasteful, I would say male boudoir photography, for me at my home. You know, where I feel comfortable and where I can prance around and whatnot. I'm just interested in like kind of presenting myself in a different way on Instagram. And I can't take the pictures myself. And you guys, it's hearing you guys talk, it sounds like you guys really know what you're doing and you got a lot of good gear and equipment. If you're interested, text me after the show. You don't have to, you don't have to commit right now.
I just want to say, Rob, if you want to do this, if you seriously want to do this, I'm there for you, but it's not about prancing around. It's about letting yourself be who you actually are. That's what the camera does. It's going to capture you. So you have to like, if prancing is a part of that, that's great, but I don't want you to pretend it. I want you to like, what is sexy to you? And we'll get it. We'll definitely get it.
Okay, cool.
8-hour shoot.
Just name the date and time, and it's done.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
we have a warehouse. Steve and I have a warehouse. We'll bring you down to
Chatsworth.
Steve, are you doing any stand-up or not really?
I'm gonna start. It's been, clearly I wasn't gonna do it over the pandemic, and I couldn't do it back when we were in Atlanta. So it's been a year and a half since I've done. I did it once in Atlanta at the Laughing Skull, and before that it was 6 months. So it's been about almost 2 years since I've really done stand-up.
Are you excited to do it again, or have you like lost some of that? Like, are you like, well, maybe I should just? I mean, like, are you jonesing for it? Like, I guess is like, I don't know, because we've gotten so comfortable in our own like setups right now. Do you feel like you want to get back up?
I'm not jonesing for it, but I do want to do it, and I feel like I have a lot of new shit to talk about. But it terrifies me for numerous reasons. One being there's still a pandemic, and two being I'm out of practice. So it's nerve-wracking.
I know. We have me and Sheer have a show at Largo next when is it?
Saturday night. Next Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah. And nice. I'm mildly terrified just because it's the first live show we've done. We do this show every week, but this is just us talking, and it's super low stakes. But like to do a show where people have paid money, they drive there and they park and they get dinner and then they come to the show. I'm like, oh fuck, we gotta like really.
Yeah, and they haven't left their house in a year and a half, and they're like, "This better be fucking good."
Yeah, we got to bring the.
The stakes are so high. They're like, we're risking our lives to go see.
Well,
comedy.
And especially me, because what I like to do is always because my big bit, and you guys know, it's like I do like a Gallagher kind of thing where I have people sneeze on me, and now with this new thing, it's sort of like I am nervous about it.
Yeah.
I would be too.
People in the chat are upset because I said that this show is low stakes and it's just a fuck around, and like I was shitting on them. And I guess I would say, fuck these people, right? I mean, fuck 'em.
Come on, man.
No,
I will say that
they have worth.
This has been actually, it was funny because Rob and I saw each other for the first time, but this has been so much. I was thinking about this a lot lately. Like these shows, and especially this one, has been really fun because it feels like you have like a connection with somebody. We get to do a show every week, which is something that we've done. I mean, I've done a show every single week, at least once a week for I feel like 2 decades.
For real. Like this has been a total lifesaver for me, just to have a creative outlet. And we very loosely present this show, but it is fun to just be accountable. Like, okay, we got a show on Thursday. Let's come up with some things to talk about. And,
Not the way that we used to heavily plan our 11 p.m. on Monday crash test show. We did a show at 11 o'clock on Mondays for so long, and it was so much fun. But then it got to the point when Rob and I both had kids, and it was like, all right, we were walking off stage at like 1:30 in the morning, and then having to get up at like 6. And it was like, I think we both just like burnt out from just like, it was I was falling asleep by like 9 o'clock at night. Steve, is there any, you also, obviously you've been around big people your whole career, but were you impressed by any level of star like in this, like Suicide Squad is like again, another cannonball run of movie. It's like huge. Yeah.
I went in expecting like somebody has to be an asshole.
Right.
One of these many people, and not one was an asshole, which makes me wonder if I'm the asshole.
Wow.
I was like, are these people talking about me behind my back? Because they were all incredible. I was honestly, though, afraid of Viola Davis for the first few times working with her. She really scared me because she's so like professional, and I would try and joke around, and she just was like boom, boom, boom with her lines, and I was like, oh my God, I think she hates my guts. And then by like, you know, day 4 or 5, like she was giving me the Myers-Briggs test. She's like, I think we have the same personality. I'm going to give you this quiz.
Now I remember on the first movie, like Margot Robbie gave everybody tattoos. Were tattoos given on this movie? Did anyone get tattoos?
No, and it's the first thing I asked her when I met her in Atlanta. I was like, did you bring your tattoo gun? She's like, no, it's at home. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Are you?
Well, we're not getting any tattoos.
Are you dating Margot Robbie?
No, she got married, so I guess that's not going to happen now. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she was married. I don't know who anyone is married to.
Rob, I told you, I sent you my celebrity zine. You should be reading up on my zine, and you would know that she was married in 2016 to Tom Ackerley. And they've been having a great, great life.
Paul, that's really good. That really is impressive.
I wish I knew that, like right off. Just some creative Googling and some good side eye.
I was like, wow, because most people don't know that. And I was like, wow, that really is her husband. That's amazing.
Dude, I'm so psyched to see you, man, and I can't wait to see you in person again. I can't wait. You're I always miss it when you go away, and I'm so psyched that you're back.
Psyched you're back, and we'll hopefully see you at a show, and we can.
I'm gonna try to come to your show next Saturday.
Oh my gosh,
shit, that'll make me nervous. I'll be so nervous.
I'll bring my camera, Rob.
Yeah. Do the photos on that couch.
Who's doing our show?
Yeah.
Zach?
I don't know if we're supposed to announce it, but I can say, Zach Galifianakis will be there, and Patty Harrison will be there, and Nicole Byer. And by the way, if you're there, Steve, do a set. It'll be great.
Come and just dick around, dude.
Maybe I will. Yeah. That'll be awesome.
That'd be great. That'd be super fun.
Great to see you, buddy.
Awesome, Steve.
It's great to see you guys. Miss you. Can't wait to see you in person.
See ya.
Everybody.